Week 14 was insane. So obviously we're gonna talk about week 14. WNBA draft lottery happened yesterday. I'm gonna update you guys on my fantasy team, which I didn't do in the first episode. My bad. But we're also gonna talk about some other stuff. So sit on, hang tight. You know what I'm saying? Take this ride with you, girl. It's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one. Let's get it. Welcome back to episode 2 of this thing. And I didn't think I would want to do these daily. I might end up doing these daily. We'll see. But man, week 14 was nuts. Week 14 was nuts. Yesterday was crazy. Unpredictable games, moments. Like it was a lot of craziness that happened yesterday. I think I got to start off with my Cowboys though, coming through with a big dub against Philly. We pretty much dominated the game from start to finish. That looks good out there. Our offense looked pretty good. Our defense came up with three fumbles yesterday. Um, but yeah, we pretty much controlled that game from start to finish. They didn't score an offensive touchdown, which is kind of nuts. As high powered as their offense usually is. It's weird to see them. They've been struggling the last few weeks. Their defense is definitely not it right now. Even the game that they lost against the Bills, I think they gave up like 30 points and it went to overtime. And Jalen Hurts had to put his team on his back and get that dub for them. But obviously, last week, them getting stomped by San Fran, who we will talk about as well. And then my boys coming through with a quality win. Finally got a quality win. I say a second one because I think Seattle's a quality team, which we also will talk about Seattle a little bit. But it was a quality win, and I was happy to see it from start to finish. Like I said, we pretty much controlled it. Um, it was nice to see, like I said, us play well against a good team, which Philly is still a good team. They're going through some stuff right now. They've had a lot of injuries throughout their season on that defense, so it was a good win for us. But I think the biggest story I think of yesterday's games was the Chiefs and the Bills and the controversial flag that came at the end of that game. Chiefs are down 20-17. It's probably like a minute and some change left. They're driving down the field. They snap the ball. There's a penalty. Play continues. Mahomes chucks it to Kelsey. Kelsey's running in the middle of the field. Looks like he might get tackled. He does a backwards pass to I forgot his name, but his last name is Tony, the wide receiver. He takes it about 20, 30 yards. He runs it in for a touchdown. Crowd's going crazy, but then realizes there's a penalty. Usually if there's a penalty early in the play on the line of scrimmage, is either like a holding, a false start. Or false starts usually I believe they stop the play. It's usually like a holding or offsides. That's usually like what it is. And the call is an offsides on the offense. Um, the Chiefs wide receiver, I can't remember his first name, but his last name is Tony. He pretty much has his foot on the scrimmage line, which that's usually not a thing. I mean, that's not allowed. Not a thing. It's not allowed. And the touchdown comes back. The Chiefs are pissed. The Chiefs are pissed. Which was his Kadarius Tony. That's his name. But the Chiefs are pissed. Obviously, they scored a touchdown, took the lead, and I've never seen Mahomes react the way he did. He was livid on the sideline. He showed it also in the press game interview. Even at the end of the game, when all the players are kind of dapping it up, him and Josh Allen kind of meet in the middle. And he's like, "Yo, that's the worst call I ever seen in football or whatever to end the game." And then he goes on the podium and pretty much says, that's a bad call to make because usually when a player's like ready to go, the receiver will kind of like point at the ref to kind of get, I guess, to like line up, make sure they're lined up right. And that didn't happen, I don't think. And you could definitely tell he was 100% offsides. I don't think anybody could argue that. Mahomes was pissed at the fact that it was called at a really, really important time in the game, and a big game at that, because both of those teams are still fighting for playoff seeding. The Bills, I believe, have to pretty much win out to get in the playoffs themselves, depending on what happens with Miami. Um, but I just, I've never seen Mahomes act like that, and I think it's obviously frustrating. They've been kind of struggling lately, um, and it was just, for me, it's just like you can't get mad when, if it was vice versa, you wouldn't have a problem, obviously. Um, but he clearly was offsides. They threw the flag before the play started. It wasn't like they waited till they scored and like threw it or something. Like that would have been obviously wrong. But a penalty is a penalty, regardless of when it happens, regardless of how big the game is. And it's like they still had time to score even after that play. Obviously, it's deflating. I feel like as a team, as a team, emotions are just like, bro, we just scored and they just took it back. There was still a minute left, so it wasn't like it was the end of the, what was like technically, like it wasn't the end of the game. They technically still had time to score. They ended up obviously not scoring. The Bills win the game, and like I said, Mahomes was pissed. Andy Reid was pissed. It was, to me, it was weird seeing Mahomes act like that. As somebody who I like genuinely enjoy watching play football, watching quarterback for that matter, he's probably one of the more exciting players we've had, not even just in the NFL, just in sports in the last like 10, 15 years. I think you could probably throw like Steph Curry in there. You could probably throw like Braun, the guys that just do it so effortlessly, like Lamar Jackson. I can go on. But to see him kind of blow up like that, as a fan of the game, just kind of sucks, because obviously the emotions are high. Like I said, they were struggling, but it's still like it was the right call, and it's like your emotions sometimes take over, and that's why I'll give them a pass. But for them to sit there and act like that was the reason they lost the game is, for me, is, I feel like it's kind of childish and it's kind of dumb. Um, Hopefully things will cool off. I don't know what. Let me check the Chiefs' schedule. Who they have left, because they're 8-5. Yes, they're in 5. They have the Patriots next week. They have the Raiders, Bengals, and Chargers. That's their last 4 games. They should be in the playoffs. The thing is, the Chiefs have never played a road playoff game. So right now, if the playoffs started right now, it would not go through Kansas City. I believe the Ravens have the number 1 seed. Dolphins play tonight. There's 2 Monday night games tonight, but the Dolphins play tonight. The Dolphins are 9-3, and the Ravens won yesterday. They're 10-3. Speaking of those Ravens, they won their game in overtime from a punt return. That play was completely insane. The Rams played pretty solid. I'll give the Rams that. It was a good game. As a fan of football, it was a really good game as a whole. Matt Stafford played well, almost 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. Lamar had 3 touchdowns, 300 yards too. But that punt return was insane. Overtime, tied 31. I forgot the guy's name who took it back. Let's check. Let's check. We're checking names out here. It's Tylan Wallace. Yeah, he took it. It was about what, like 60, 70 yards, I think. Yeah, it was 76 according to ESPN. But yeah, man, it was a really good game. There was a lot of shocking scores yesterday, though. That was just the 4:00 games. Those 2 games were part of 4:00 games. 49ers pretty much took care of business against Seattle. Geno Smith did not play. They lost by 12 to San Fran. San Fran lives pretty much. I think, I don't care who you are. They're the best team in football right now, easily. It's not even a question. As much as I hate to say it. And looks like the NFC might go through San Francisco. I don't think they have a reason to not pretty much take the number 1 seed. the only game, well, two games I guess that they have left that are even probably remotely tough. They play the Ravens after this week, which is Christmas. Actually, they play the Ravens on Christmas, and they play the Cardinals next week. They also have the Commanders and the Rams. The Rams will probably give them a little bit of a game, but like San Fran seems like they're gonna be like on track to having the whole the NFC go through them, which is completely fair. They've gotten hot at the right time, and I kind of have to eat my words about Brock Purdy. I legit, he's definitely deserving of his MVP candidacy. I know I was very like, but I won't call him an elite quarterback yet. I feel like he has to do something, win some games, maybe get to a Super Bowl, whatever. If they was to win it this year, I think he's 100% in the discussion of he's a top 10 quarterback minimum. Maybe somebody put him in the top 5, but he's a top 10 quarterback minimum. I'll give him that. But the Niners pretty much took care of business. The Vikings and Raiders, that game was 3-0. That was the final score of that game. The Vikings scored a field goal like late fourth. Justin Jefferson came back and literally caught a ball and got popped, and he got hurt again. Like, I have him on my fantasy team, so he's just been sitting on the IR. I did not play him. But it just sucks, man. The Vikings, like I said, they ended up winning the game, which is good for them, but Jefferson looked like he was pissed. You know, he hadn't played in like 2 months or something like that. So but the Vikings pretty much took that game. These early window games though, some of these were really shocking. The Bears coming through against the Lions. That was that for me, that game, and then the Jets pretty much dump trucking the Texans was crazy. But let's talk about the Bears real quick. They're 5-8. The Lions are, I think they're lioning right now. That's a term. They have all the pieces to pretty much run away with that division. What's they still should. Like, I feel like they're gonna win a division, but man, they're gonna go into these playoffs kind of rocky. Minnesota's behind them at 7-6. Green Bay 6-6, and the Bears are still in it at 5-8, which is kind of crazy. So like I said, that bottom of the NFC is literally up for grabs. Anybody can have it right now. But shout out to Justin Fields, the Bears. They came through in a big way. So shout out to the Bears. Like I said, the Texans pretty much came to Jersey and laid an egg against the Jets. The Jets won 30-6. Stroud went out late, I believe, with I think it was concussion protocol. So hopefully he can get back on the field for their sake. Looking at the standings, I believe they're third in their division, but they're in a division with the Colts, Jacksonville, and the Titans. And the Jaguars are 8-5. Both the Colts and Titans are 7-6. But I believe the Colts lost yesterday as well. So that division is kind of up for grabs. I know the Jaguars lost to the Browns 31-27. Can we talk about Joe Flacco, though? My man Joe Flacco came through with 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. Big time for Joe Flacco. They've officially named him the starter for the rest of the season for Cleveland. Jaguars took a L they probably didn't want to take. I picked the Jaguars in that game because Lawrence did play. He ended up playing after the last weekend, the injury he had. But man, shout out to the Browns. Shout out to Joe Flacco. He's like 38. They said he's like the oldest quarterback to have like 300 yards or 3 touchdowns. Or no, something like that. That's probably not true. It's some kind of stat that he had. You know, ESPN, they always be coming up with these stats that you ain't never heard of. You know, they'd be like, you know, this is the first quarterback to throw for 300 yards on a Sunday when it's, you know, when it's raining outside. Like, you know, they always come up with some crazy stat like that because I believe there was a stat for the Raiders Vikings game. They were like the I forgot what it was. Oh god, I can't remember it. But it was funny as hell. I was like, man, that's definitely like an ESPN stat. But yeah, shout out to Joe Flacco. He's like I said, they named him starter for the rest of the season. The Bengals beat the Colts, pretty much stomped them 34-14. Browning did really well for the Bengals, 275, 2 touchdowns. I feel like the Bengals are peaking at the right time, even without Joe Burrow. They are technically last in their division, but their division's really tight. The Browns are 8-5, the Ravens are at 10-3, and then both the Steelers and Bengals are 7-6. So that division could go any direction. I think Baltimore is gonna probably be the number one seed in the NFC, the AFC. Um, but we'll see. What else have we got here? The Saints Panthers. The Saints won that game 28-6. Not surprising. Not much to talk about on that one. Falcons Bucks. Now that game is literally pretty much that whole NFC South is up for grabs. There's no like they're all I think like 6-7. Yep. Tampa Bay, Atlanta, and the Saints are all 6-7. So that's literally gonna go and come down to the last game, and I believe they all kind of play each other within the last 4 weeks. Like I think they all kind of play each other in a way. I think everybody plays at least one other team out of those three within the next 4 weeks. So that's literally gonna I think go out into the last week, last game of the season. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I don't think I missed any game. Oh, the Broncos! I can't forget about the Broncos. I told y'all them Broncos they hanging around, man. The Broncos is hanging around, and now with KC losing, the Broncos are second in their division right now. And I believe if the playoffs started out, they'd be in. No, they'd be just out in ninth place. But the Broncos, man. And also Herbert hurt his finger, the Chargers quarterback, yesterday. So I think he like broke it or something. One of his I think his right index finger or something. But the Broncos, man, they're 6-1 in the last 7 games, which is nuts. Sutton had a crazy TD grab that happened. Russell was like scrambling, he like made a play with his feet, and Sutton had a crazy like one-handed grab for a touchdown. But they have the Lions, Patriots, Chargers again, and the Raiders. The Broncos, I think if they win out, they'll pretty much be in. Like I wouldn't see where they wouldn't get in, but it's crazy to me that they're right there, man. Shout out to the Broncos, man. I was looking at their schedule and see if they played the Chiefs twice. They split with the Chiefs. But nonetheless, man, the week was crazy. This whole that from the 1 o'clock games to the end, this whole thing was insane. Like I said, we have 2 games tonight. We have the Titans and Dolphins. Dolphins should win that one. Packers Giants. I'm going with the Packers to keep themselves in a playoff race. They definitely have a chance to like still make some noise. It wouldn't shock me. Like the Giants have weirdly been playing okay. They're 4-8, but on the last 2 games, I feel like they've been playing okay. Like I said, I'm here in Jersey, so I get to see all their games. So it's not like they have a chance to play spoiler though. Huge play spoiler. Like I said, they play the Packers tonight, but they have 2 games versus the Eagles for the and also they play the Saints, they play the Rams, they play a lot of teams that are hunting for the playoffs. Like they could easily play spoiler for any of those teams ahead of them. Like I would love for them to like beat the Eagles one of those games that they have. They have 2 games versus the Eagles. They played them on Christmas Day, and they played them actually a day before my birthday, which is January 7th. My birthday's on the 8th. But yeah, I'll be 35. That's just crazy. People don't believe me when I tell them I'll be 35. But nonetheless, I do love that my birthday is always around like playoff time or college football championship time. Like it's always like a good time for me as a sports fan to kind of just chill back and watch. But nonetheless, those are the games for like week 14. I'll probably be back tomorrow, kind of giving those 2 recap on those 2 games that happened. But onto the WNBA, I was literally talking about who was number 1 pick in the draft, like who was getting the first pick. The Indiana Fever ended up getting the draft lottery. I believe they were followed by the Sparks, Mercury, and then the Storm. No one knows if Caitlin Clark's coming out this year. But we'll see. If they do, and if Indiana was to get Caitlin Clark to go along with Boston, that would be kind of Indiana will be back for sure. They haven't really done much since Tamika Catchings kind of retired. They've been really, really quiet. Tamika Catchings was pretty much their heart and soul. One of my favorite players to watch. Favorite basketball players to watch. So, but yeah, Indiana, like I said, Indiana won the draft lottery. So I think the NBA was kind of quiet. I don't think there was there any games yesterday? I don't think so. I don't think there was any game. No, there were literally no games yesterday. uh, it was say that I guess after that the in season tournament, which Braun like took MVP. Also, speaking of LeBron, his son finally got a chance to play. Uh, his son played after having that whole cardiac arrest thing. It was good to see him on the court. He had a nice little chase down block. He only had like 4 points. He came off the bench, but it was nice to see him, get a chance to play a game even after everything what happened with him. Like I think he like pass out or something on the court, which is so it was cool to see him play. It was cool to see him get on the court and play a little bit. But yeah, I'm gonna take a little bit of a break, and I'm gonna come back with something. I'm gonna talk about my fantasy team, which I'll update y'all on, and something else I want to kind of cover. But I love you guys. I'll be back. I'm back. I said I was gonna cover my fantasy team here. Um, this league that I've been in for a few years now. Actually, I think it's been like a good like 6 7 years. Um, it's only small. It's a very small league. It's not like a money league. I just love playing in it for fun. I was added by a friend who I talked to. He's a fellow Cowboys fan and everything. So I've been in this league for a while. It's a little different from their basic fantasy league where it's like a quarterback, two running backs, three receivers, a tight end, a kicker, and a defense. Um, this league has um actual defensive, like individual defensive players. We have the typical quarterback, two wide receivers, two running backs, a tight end. There's a flex option where you could he made it where you could have a quarterback there if you wanted to instead of just a wide receiver, tight end, or a running back. Because right now I have Jordan Love as my flex right now. But we also have the team defense. This is like regular. I have the Jets defense, which they actually put up decent points week to week for me. But we also have individual defensive players. So we have a defensive back, two linebackers, a cornerback, and a safety. Um, I just realized there's no defensive end. I think they combine pretty much. You could probably put a defensive end in the linebacker spot. I think I'm not sure. Um, but different leagues have different rules. Right now I'm losing by 20. No, I'm losing by 30. But I have Mostert, who's the running back for Miami, and I have Jordan Love as well. And I also have the Giants linebacker. I do not know how to say his name, but he's pretty good at getting tackles. His name is Bobby. Let's or I don't know how to say his name, but his number is. Sorry, his number's 58. But yeah, he's really good at getting tackles, so he gets me a lot of points. So like with the defensive players, you get like points for tackles, sacks, interceptions, and so forth. The person I'm playing who is obviously who's also the leader of the league. He has nobody left, so pretty much I have to pull out 30 points tonight between Mostert, Jordan Love, and the Giants linebacker, which I think is doable. Like it gives you the projections as like the day goes on. I'm a 76% favorite. As long as neither one of them get hurt, I could think even just Love and Mostert can easily get me 30 points. Love has been playing really well. They are playing against the Giants, so that's why I kind of played him. And Mostert, he's one of those guys who could give you like receiving yards, rushing yards. Like he's one of those really like good complete backs. And they're playing Tennessee, so I wouldn't surprise me if I can get I might be able to get just 30 from him. But nonetheless, I am fourth in this division. It's only 8 teams. Our playoffs start next week. I believe our playoffs are just top six. I'm 8-5. Everybody, it's very top heavy. We have a 10-3 team, 9-4, 9-4, 8-5, and 8-5, and then there's a 5-8 who's the person that's underneath, and then the other two teams. There are sometimes a couple people who are like kind of not active, and you could tell because like there's a team here who's 1-12, and half of their players are either hurt or like with the defensive players. Sometimes it's really tough to make sure you just have to like pay attention to it every week because there's times when guys won't play and stuff like that. But I've been playing fantasy sports forever, probably since I was in high school. I've always enjoyed fantasy football has always been my favorite. I've tried basketball, and basketball is my favorite sport, but I don't know. I just didn't keep up with it like I would want it to. I even tried fantasy baseball. That's a whole other can of worms. That's a lot. So especially with baseball, you don't know when guys are playing. It changes every day. So that's I feel like baseball's probably the toughest to adjust to. I might make a fantasy basketball team, um, a fantasy team, um, soon because it's early in the season. It's only about a month and a half in, maybe. You usually start like mid October. It's like early December, so it's mid December. But nonetheless, like I said, there was no NBA games tonight. But I kind of wanna kind of talk about something. I when I My plan for this show is it's obviously going to be very sports heavy because it's one of the things that has been really important in my life, and so does video games. I play video games at least. I don't go more than maybe 24 hours without playing something. Um, but I want this to be more than just a sports talk show. I want to be able to have guests. I want to be able to definitely talk about streaming, which is something I've been doing for, it's crazy to say, it's been over 4 years since I hit the go live for the first time. I started out on Mixer. When Mixer shut down, I came over to Twitch. And I can't express how much being a part of the whole streaming universe has changed my life for the better. It definitely helped me believe that there are good people in the world. I was at one point just like, excuse my language, fuck everybody. I hate people. And just being around a lot of people that I've gotten to know and love through the years, um, some have come and go, but the core has stayed. And I don't care if I met you 4 or 5 years ago or met you yesterday. I appreciate you. So that's for anybody who's listening who knows me. Like I said, I stream on Twitch. Come to the Twitch channel, follow your girl. Um, Twitch.tv/Big Mama Steph. That's Big Mama Steph with 2 G's. Like I said, we have fun over there. I'm probably gonna stream later at some point. Like I said, we play a lot of Apex, Overwatch. I've been playing a little GTA role play, Fortnite. I play a little bit of everything. I do enjoy story games, which I've been trying to find some more story games to play. Me and my buddy Chipmunk, we just finished playing through A Way Out, which was really fun. It was only 6 hours, but it was pretty good. Um, so we've been thinking about some more co-op story games to play. Um, I'm probably going to be playing through Gears of War 5 with my friend Chipmunk and my other friend Squinty. Uh, I had played through all the all the Gears of War campaigns. One point maybe like 2 years ago. I pretty much went in order. Started from the first one, went to GTA. Keep saying GTA. Gears of War 5, and the only one I couldn't finish was Judgment. There was like a glitch where it would not let you get past a certain mission. I was told that I needed to buy the disc version to get past that mission, and I just never did. I never finished it. But all the other five I finished, and that's the one game I will say that I am ready for a six game. I need a new Gears. It's been, I believe, five came out 2018, maybe. I enjoyed the storyline. The first one I played was Gears of War 2 back in the day. That campaign had your girl sad. It was a couple sad moments in that campaign. So it was Gears of War 3 as well. But man, it's so good. It's so good. Even the ending of Gears 5 was interesting. So if you enjoy like just me failing and watching me fail, don't be afraid to come over to the Twitch because we have fun there. We have fun there. I got a lot of cool people in my community that I love and adore, and it's the one of the few things I find joy in. Like I said, I love my sports, I love my video games, but streaming has definitely been something that has changed my life for the better. All the people I've met, even in different communities that I'm in, have become not just friends but like family, and have gotten me through some really tough times. It's not even about the, it's sometimes just about, if I'm just not having the best day, just hopping in a Discord call. You didn't even have to play anything. We just sit and just kind of vibe with each other. So it's definitely been huge in my life. Um I've I've had some of the best experiences. I've met a few of my friends in person. Um and they're two are probably my favorite people in the world. That's shout out to my homegirl Robot Giggles and Bossy, two people I've actually gotten a chance to meet because of the online stuff. I took my first like plane trip to Georgia 2 years ago. It's crazy. It's been 2 years for Giggs's birthday, and I probably had one of the best times of my life being somewhere new. That's kind of my goal, is to move to Georgia. Um, just to kind of get away from Jersey. I just need to get away. I need to get out of this apartment first of all, but I think I need like a refresher. I want to kind of get away from some snow. I'm not a big snow person. Um, I'm a big person, but I'm not a big snow person. Sorry. Um, um, but yeah, like I enjoyed my time down there. I went down there for pretty much the whole weekend for her birthday, and she and her people treated me so well, and it was nice. It was nice to kind of get away. And me and Bossy met for each other for the first time last year. Um, we spent pretty much Christmas, like early few days before Christmas. We were in NYC. It was super fun. Had a good time. And she's from Jersey, so she came up here maybe like in August, I believe, and she came and got me with her brother, and we went, got some food, got some drinks, and it was a good time. That's what I adore so many people I've met throughout this whole streaming thing. So I'm hoping at some point to have some guests on here, and hopefully include those people. Um, I also want to talk about my friend Ashlyn, who's she, if she's listening to this, she's probably gonna be a little cringe that I'm talking about her. But I love her to death. I've known her for about 2 years. She's a mom of three. She's a wife. She's been through a lot. She's been through a lot, and I've watched her grow in the past almost 2 years I've known her, and I have so much respect for her. I have respect for a lot of the people here who do this whole content creation thing, that are parents, that have families. Because I it's just me, and sometimes it's hard for me just to do anything. I don't have any kids, a significant other, none of that. So anybody who's got family, balancing family and content creation is crazy. So she streams damn near every day. Like usually after streams, we're all kind of hanging out in Discord. She's always working on stream stuff, and it's starting to she's starting to get rewarded for those things, and it's showing, and I'm happy for her. I'm one of her mods, one of the beautiful group of mods that we have, and the family that we've built because of Ash. But um, but yeah, man, I I as much as I struggle with my mental health and stuff, I I don't really regret knowing the people that I know. As hard as it's been, um, for my almost 35 years of life, which is crazy to say. I'll be 35 next month. Um, I won't take back any of the people that I've got to know and love through the years. Even before like being around streamers, I spent a lot of time on Xbox. I had a lot of Xbox friends who I still keep in contact with today. They've gotten me through some tough times as well. I love and appreciate them as well. My family has been through a lot. We've lost a lot. I lost my mom when I was 9. We've had a lot of death in the family, and uh, lost uncles, aunts, my grandmother. Most recently, my uncle that was living with me. Um, it hits me hard almost every day because I'm living alone, and it's my first time ever. But my dad who's only been my life the last like 3 to 4 years. After pretty much not really being in my life, it's been a blessing to have him around. Um, I can't express how much I love just having my father in my life. It's been huge for me. But like I said, my mental health is usually a big struggle, but I'm pushing through. Your girl's pushing through, and I just wanted to start this podcast because it's something I've always wanted to do, and it lets me kind of just kind of talk about what I want to talk about, and that's why I kind of want to be consistent with this. Um, Try to do this at least a few times a week. I don't know if I'll do it every day. I'm kind of feeling it right now. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll get a schedule going. We'll get a schedule going. But expect me to do this at least a few times a week. And like I said, I'm gonna be talking about a lot of sports, a lot of video game stuff. But I don't mind just talking about anything, life stuff, or I'm also gonna like probably put somewhere where you guys could ask me questions, and I'll probably like do like a Q&A episode or something like that. Um, and the questions could be about anything. I'm a pretty open book. Like I don't really hide too much. At least recently, sometimes I have my walls up with people, but people that I trust, I keep close to me. Um, but yeah, man, I think that's pretty much gonna be it. I didn't get all sentimental at the end of this episode, but I just had to kind of express that how I don't know if I'd still be here if it wasn't for the beautiful people I've gotten to know and love the last 4 to 5 years. And I can't even sit here and name everybody. There's so many people. But like I said, my friend Robot Giggles and Bossy and Ashland, my friend Squinty, who I've known for like 4 years, my friend Domingo. It's a lot of people. I have a lot of people that I owe for keeping my spirits high and keeping me focused. So, but I love you guys, man, and I hope people can stick around for this because I want to make this a thing. And like I said, I want to have some guests on here at some point, and we gonna do our thing, man. I'll probably be back tomorrow, kind of reviewing the two games that happened, the Monday Night Football games, and all that stuff like that. You know, like I said, we're gonna talk about other things. Also, yeah, the gaming stuff. I'm excited for Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. I will be playing the new version of that game when that comes out next year. Also, Jet Set Radio and Crazy Taxi. It's gonna be nuts to see those two games with the upgrades and having online. It's gonna be a fun year. And all the Sega kind of games coming back because I believe they're doing Streets of Rage, they're doing some other games, some Sega games. So if you're like an old school '90s fan, you know what it is. So, but yeah, that's it. That's it for me. I want to try to keep these around like 40 minutes to an hour every time. I think we've kind of hit like our 40-minute mark ish. Um, but yeah, I'll probably be back tomorrow. Like I said, previewing the games. But hope everybody has a great start to their week. It is Monday, December 11th, 2023. But I hope everybody has a great start to their week. Love your faces. Stay beautiful. See you in the next one. Remember to drink your water. Check on a homie. Check on a homie. Go check on somebody, please. I'm messing up my words. Whatever. Drink your water. Check on a homie. And remember you're loved. Peace.